this life's that way, this path that we have chosen to take, and we're here, we are showing up to serve other people, just making sure that we're serving them in the correct way and making sure we're serving our family and showing up for ourselves. And that really anybody is skeptical about coaching in general, because sometimes coaching gets a bad rap, that this right here is like, it's tenfold. I mean, there's nothing scammy about it. It is real. And knowing that if you're in this place as an entrepreneur and you think that you want to take that next step and you want to experience something better, that this is where you need to be. You need to be in a space where you're supported, and don't think that you're not ready for it, because you are ready for it. And like I say, it's been a great experience. And I think that just making sure you have the right people on your side. That's the thing I want to leave with, is like making sure you have the right people on your side.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question: what has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests, who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. Profit designers, does it feel like your business is taking over your life? It shouldn't be that way. Work should support life, not the other way around. And at Tap the Potential, we have a solution for you. You can get started on your journey with us to take your life back from your business by downloading my introductory training, How to Make Your Time Worth $10,000 an Hour. You can access it at tapthepotential.com/10K. Profit designers, today I'm bringing you a conversation with Steve Dale. Steve has been a member of our Better Business, Better Life program, and he has made some significant changes, not only in his business and also in his quality of life. His story is one that I believe many of you will relate to on a very personal level. He's very passionate about using what he's learned in his business experience and in his life to support other contractors in making their businesses profitable and allowing them to have a high quality of life. Steve Dale is a contractor, entrepreneur, and author who has run a residential remodeling business for 13 years. He graduated from Lewis Clark State College with a business degree and is a certified pumpkin plan strategy coach. Steve combines a strong business foundation with an insider's understanding of what it takes to run a successful remodeling company. He transformed his own business using these skills, which fueled his passion for helping other contractors learn how to run a thriving business while still having a life outside of work. Steve lives in Lewiston, Idaho with his wife and 3 children. In his free time, he enjoys hunting, fishing, exploring the great outdoors, and spending quality time with loved ones. Steve is the author of The Profitable Contractor.
Well, thank you. It's super exciting. And it's kind of a very surreal experience. But yeah, I've been a remodel contractor for the past 13 years and went through the common struggles and the successes. I don't want to say there wasn't successes in there, because we always have those successes, but they weren't the successes. Looking back on it now, they're not the successes that I'm having now. So I gotten to a point in my career that I was grinding it out. I was working 7 days a week, and that is the truth. And you can ask my wife, she will verify that. And, long days. And when you're thinking of that next, you're just looking for that next opportunity of freedom or a break, and you can't see it because you have job after job lined up. And you would think that when you're working more, that you'd be making more, but that is about the exact opposite if you're not intentional about what you're doing. And then so after some time, I got into a very low point in my life and I didn't have any answers. I didn't know what the answers were. And then I kind of got wise and realized like, I think I need some help. I think I need a push in the right direction. And what that ended up being was me hiring my first business coach. And definitely that was like the push, the shove that I needed. And then I got involved in, with the pumpkin plan, which was great. And that was like speaking my language. And then I realized that my top clients that I had in my business, I didn't really have per se in like the top clients that I was really, I mean, I had them in there, but most of my business was consumed of like crappy, turd clients, the ones where you just are on the bottom of our shoes and we don't know how to shake them off. And so that kind of began my journey. And after hiring that coach and changing things around and getting involved in the pumpkin plan and then end up getting involved with the Tap the Potential family, I realized that there's a better way, and that if I was to be in the field as a contractor, because I still have my contracting license, every time I would do a job, every time I'd show up to perform a task on the job, I was thinking like, okay, this is great, but it's not where my passion was at. I didn't feel passionate about what I used to feel passionate about. And the passion was seeing other contractors in the field that were struggling, but we don't know what we don't know. And they were having struggles, with their clients and spending time with their family and having, self-care, enjoying time to themselves, because self-care is it's not just a want, it's a need when you're an entrepreneur. And so that's when I just realized that as I was able to change my business around and realize that I had to start working on my business versus working in the weeds, I just realized that, needed to share the word. And so the book was my platform so I can be able to share my message, my story with whoever, wants to listen. So I'm hoping a lot of contractors want to read my story and want to listen, because I think that it's about having support. It doesn't really matter who the support is or what it is. Or actually, it does matter what it is, but you need to have somebody that can support you and somebody who can help you from the outside in, because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, we think we're making all the right decisions. And that's, we make some right decisions, but a lot of times we're too far into it or too deep into it and we're blinded by our decisions. And so having the Tap the Potential team and family, and especially the small group, that is like very powerful, because you guys are here to support us. You're on our side. You're invested in our success. And that's been very powerful.
We so want you to succeed. I mean, and we take the greatest pride and joy in nurturing you along. Like, Steve, I remember our conversation that we had at the Pumpkin Plan training event in New Jersey, probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And you were talking about increasing your prices. And it was you were just scared. You're like, I don't know, this is such a big deal. And you had some aha moments even there that led to you charging more, which had an impact. So a big part of what we've discussed in going through the clinics last week in the Tap the Potential solution is making sure that you're pricing appropriately as an entrepreneur, because that's a big part of that self-care piece. So self-care is not a want, it's a need as an entrepreneur. And being able to charge appropriately so that you can take care of yourself is huge. And just as I want you to talk about that in a minute, but one of the things I want to share with you is you actually are the one who coined the phrase that we throw around a lot, the better business, better life lifestyle, because that really it's a lifestyle. It's a way of doing business and a way of being in the world that I think is very different than how most entrepreneurs approach life. And you're definitely embracing that for yourself. And a big step towards that is charging more. So let's go back, Steve, to that point in time where, and I want to be real clear, and you said this, that you've pivoted your business. You're doing a lot less contract work, and you are now moving towards coaching contractors. And that's the reason for your book, The Profitable Contractor. And that's what you teach. And at this point in time that we're going back to, you had to make a pivotal decision that would allow you to be profitable. So talk some about that.
Is shifting from the contracting to the coaching.
And as you were shifting into contracting and coaching and making sure you were charging appropriately for the work, the coaching work that you were doing.
Yeah, that was a huge mental shift. I had figured out what I needed to make in my contracting business to be profitable and so I could provide value to my clients. And then I was trying to juggle the contracting and the coaching at the same time. And I don't know about anybody that's listening, but juggling is not something that I was particularly doing well at. And so I had to kind of put the contract, kind of make a choice. My passion was to help others. So that's when I shifted to just focus on the coaching. And I then at that point in time really struggled with like the value that I was going to be providing to my clients, like trying to wrestle with that, with what I needed to charge to become profitable. And I know after having, I was challenged a lot about just the value that I was going to be providing to my clients. And very much so at the Pumpkin Plan retreat and by you, Dr. Sabrina. And it really got me thinking. And it took some time. It wasn't like an overnight thing where I'm like, okay, I have this down. I was able to then really, all my decisions I was making is like the value I was going to be providing to my clients. And then the amount that I needed to charge became more clear. And then once I started charging that and seeing the results that my clients were achieving, it was a no-brainer. And then I'm able to then kind of like, got to dose my own medicine beforehand. But then it's very difficult to take those next steps. And that can just be a shift in direction on what you're on your business. But once you start understanding what you bring to the table, the value you serve, that was the key for me to kind of break through the mold. And now it's like, how can I even provide more value? So I can increase my prices, but not only that, so I'm able to show up at a higher level for my clients and provide them more value. So in turn, they become more profitable and they have a better experience. Because I think that's what it's all about, is providing that experience for our clients. So like I say, in turn, they can have a better business, they have a better life, which ends up having their lifestyle is something that they can be proud of. And I think that's the thing, is so often I think we get caught in the day-to-days of, waking up, going to school, going to work, coming home, it's like a rinse and repeat. Mm-hmm. And what part of the rinse and repeat can we be proud of? And
yeah. One of the things I really want to point out that is unique about you is how you have surrounded yourself with the right kind of support. So you have, as you were making that shift, and it was really a mindset shift to embrace the value that you're providing for other contractors when you're coaching them. And you were in the place that we're all in when we start out. We think, I'm just learning. I'm new at this. I don't know if what I'm providing is valuable. And when you're talking to a contractor and teaching them to price appropriately so that they can be profitable, so that they can have a higher quality of life and provide for their family, that's not a skill that just adds a few $1,000s to someone's bottom line once. It's a skill that adds a few $1,000s next month, and then 10,000 the next month, and then on and on for someone. So the value that's there is a lifetime value, because as soon as they turn the corner, and as soon as you turn the corner, once you don't go back. You can't go back. But what you do is you've surrounded yourself with people who support your mindset shift and keep you moving forward. Because it's very easy to learn something and realize, okay, I'm not charging enough. I need to charge more. And then you have that first conversation with a prospect and they say no. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm going too far. I need to go back to my old ways. You've surrounded yourself with people that you come back to, like in our Better Business, Better Life program. And you say, I tried this. This is the feedback I got. it didn't work. What do I do? And it's that it didn't quite work. What do I do? Or this part worked, but this part didn't. What do I do? I mean, just I think a week or two ago, you and I had a conversation about how to improve the conversion conversations that you're having so that they're more effective. And it's that honing and refining so that you're not alone. You're not doing this in isolation.
No, I think that there's so much to that. And there's so much to, I hear quite a bit in the contracting field about, oh, you need to raise your prices. You need to raise your prices. But from those conversations, I'm not hearing that you need to increase your value. It's like you need to make more money because you're worth it. But why are you worth it? Why are you worth it to those clients, to your prospects, to be able to charge more? And yes, I think, as you said beforehand too, when you get into a new space, it is difficult to wrap your mind around why you can charge, or what you need, not why you can, but what you need to become charged to become profitable. There's just a lot of work that comes into it. And it's like you say, like you just show up here. It's like defining your sweet spot. What is your sweet spot in your business? And then stick in that lane, because I think we can get really, like I say, blinded. I said that again, but we can get blinded by thinking we know what it is and knowing we might need to focus on that. And then we get pulled into another area and another area and another area. And then so we lose our focus.
So I want to pull out a comment here that you made that I think is so important. Raise your prices, and why are you worth it? What is your value?
I think it's so important to have a support team, a team to support you. And once you get it figured out, do not think now you have the medicine to continue on. It is ongoing, and there's challenges that creep up and you're not even aware of them. And to have that support along the way it's invaluable, very invaluable.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That has definitely been my experience as I've grown my business over the years. I used to have this mindset that, once we get to this level of revenue, life will be easy. It'll be smooth sailing from here. And it's not the case, because every revenue jump, there's new challenges ahead. And, all of us were thrown curveballs last year with COVID-19. Nobody anticipated that. And having other entrepreneurs to talk to and get feedback on, that support makes the world of difference. And it's not just emotional support. It's also the experience sharing that goes on and learning from each other's experiences. I've heard you talk about contractor buddy advice and the danger of following what others in the industry, in our individual industries, are doing, and in the importance of getting outside our industries and finding other entrepreneurs who are successful outside our industries, so that you're not falling into the trap of the contractor buddy advice, which you just pointed out. There's a lot of talk about raising prices, but no one's really talking about how you add value as you raise prices. And that is a key piece of the Tap the Potential solution. Let me talk us through some of the things that Steve has shared that map onto the Tap the Potential solutions. So you've written the Profitable Contractor.
Yes.
You are very much focused on profit, obviously, for your clients. And you've done that in your business too. In one of the places that you had to start was raising your prices so that you could be profitable. And the profit journey is an ongoing journey, because you have to continue, as you grow the business, you have to continue looking at, are we bringing in enough revenue to pay for team members and training? Steve, you've been forward thinking and you've already focused on the how to hire the best and getting yourself ready for when you're going to bring in team members, what that's going to look like. So that's all the way down here around building a lean and mighty team. And as you started shifting your business, you recognized as a contractor, you had some clients that were not the best. And then you ultimately shifted and recognized your strength is around coaching and supporting other contractors. And you actually made a shift from doing the contracting work to coaching contractors to being more profitable, which is a clearly defined sweet spot. And I anticipate as your book comes out, you're going to attract more clients, obviously. And as you do that, you're going to see your top client profile shifting. You will start to identify there's certain contractors with a certain mindset or a certain type of business or a way of doing business that are drawn to what I have to offer. And so I think that's one of the things that I'm really excited about with you in the year ahead, is we get to help you look at what is that ideal client profile going to look like now that you have your book out. And then that really is that piece about falling back in love with your business. You are enjoying work. You enjoy you. When you talk about your client successes, you light up just like we do at Tap the Potential when we talk about our client successes. I mean, that is such a joy to get to see that. And then the big point that you made is it's about innovating and adding value as we're raising prices and looking at what is the value that we can provide. And at Tap the Potential, one of the rules of thumb that I like to give is, can we look at what we're charging and show that we're delivering 3 times that value through different value added services or the way that it's impacting a client's life? And so when you use that rule of thumb, it gives you that confidence when you go out and you say, this is what it's going to cost, and this is the investment you're going to make, because the value's there.
It is, and that's a hard thing to wrap your mind around. But then when it come back from a client and they're receiving a 7 to, like my case, of a client 7 to 11 times his ROI on the investment from the coaching, that's just incredible. And that's incredible how that changes their business and how they're able to change their life. And then, that gives us a great feeling. Like, we know as coaches that what we're providing is a service that is, I'd say, worth above and beyond, but it's so invaluable how the differences that we can make in changing, like I say, changing entrepreneurs, and in my case, in our case, changing contractors' lives around.
Yes. And you were on the Facebook with Andrew. You were in the audience and you were typing as he was talking. And, he said, the money's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to be making more money and to be more profitable, but it's really the time. It's the quality time that he gets to spend with his family and, being healthier and being rested. Those things there's no dollar value that can be put on that. And just this morning, Steve, before we were coming on, I was working on my 4-week vacation book, and I was citing some statistics about the lack of vacation just in the U.S. in general. And there's a study that shows that white men who are older tend to be the ones who take the least amount of vacation, and their health suffers for it. So even when they do take vacation, they're not fully rested and recharged because their lifestyle is so busy, going. And it's very much, they may or may not be entrepreneurs, but that's definitely the entrepreneurial experience of just go. And it takes a real toll on our health. So when we stop and we think about what is the value of what we're delivering, as in your case, when you're working with contractors and you're teaching them to be profitable and you're teaching them a different way of doing business and a way that gives them a higher quality of life, there's tremendous value in that because it's life-changing for them.
Yeah. I look back on it from, even like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where my 13-year-old was at, and he was, 6 or 7 at that time. Actually go back when he was like, when he was 4 or 5, even 3 years old. Heck, when he was first born, I would wake up, like I remember some Christmas mornings where he was under the tree, crawling around the Christmas presents and just kind of sitting up, happy, a smile on his face. And then my thought is that I'm not even thinking about spending time with him. I'm thinking about my client. I'm thinking about that job that I told my client that I told them I'd be showing up on their job that morning. And I didn't have the brain space to think about spending time with my son during the holidays or my wife. And so I think that is the thing that is so important, is about spending time with your loved ones, and if we're sick, if we're living that lifestyle, we're sick, because if we keep repeating that lifestyle, we're going to become sick one way or the other. And I can know that I was at times that I was, I would experience sicknesses through the years. Like every year I'd have some sort of sickness.
Yeah.
Something. And so if we're not healthy, we can't show up for our clients. We can't show up for our family. We can't show up for ourselves. So if we're not taking care of ourselves, we have no way how we can run a business.
Yeah, it's really missing out on those moments, the moments that we're present, but we're not present. And that's really what you're describing. It's clear that you were somewhat present because you remember what your son looked like. You remember what he was doing. And yet you were also present to, I'm thinking about the job that I promised my client that I would show up to this morning on Christmas morning. and how that just takes us away from those important moments in life that we don't get back.
Yeah.
Our kids grow up so fast and we don't get it back. And I think the other thing that really is jumping out at me as you're speaking is that both of us know entrepreneurs in our circle who have suffered chronic illnesses, very serious chronic illnesses that are stress induced and stress related. And so this lifestyle is not sustainable. We may be able to do it while we're younger. I know 10 years ago, I certainly had way more energy than I have now, and I could go. And, I would get sick and it would be miserable, but I would recover. And the longer we do this, the less we're going to less effectively recover. It breaks our bodies down. It breaks down our immune responses. And we become very vulnerable to serious conditions, heart attacks, cancer, all kinds of things, metabolic disorders. We hear that a lot. I hear that a lot when I talk to entrepreneurs that, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I have this thing and people don't really talk about it because I think even in entrepreneurial circles, we need to look like we've got it all together and that we're just going to keep going. And so showing vulnerability sometimes can even be hard. And that's a big piece of the Better Business, Better Life program too, is that we really strive to create that safe space where people can be real and genuine about what's going on. And because it's only at that point where we can be real and genuine, can we say, hey, I'm struggling with this. I need help with this. And that's where things can start to turn around.
Well, yeah, I know you guys provide a super safe space. And I think that when we talk about making better choices for ourselves and our businesses, but there's times that we end up, slipping, taking a step backwards. But you guys are there to help pull us out of it. And we learn from the others in our group. And sometimes I think we might not know that we actually have a problem in our business or in our life. And then somebody else brings up a story and you're going, oh my gosh, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And so that right there is a super powerful piece.
Do you have any final words of wisdom for our entrepreneurs and the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back community?
I just think that this path that we have chosen to take, and we're here, we are showing up to serve other people, just making sure that we're serving them in the correct way and making sure we're serving our family and showing up for ourselves. And that really anybody is skeptical about coaching in general, because sometimes coaching gets a bad rap, that this right here is like, it's tenfold. I mean, there's nothing scammy about it. It is real. And knowing that if you're in this place as an entrepreneur and you think that you want to take that next step and you want to experience something better, that this is where you need to be. You need to be in a space where you're supported, and don't think that you're not ready for it, because you are ready for it. And I say it's been a great experience. And I think that just making sure you have the right people on your side. That's the thing I want to leave with, is like making sure you have the right people on your side.
If you're ready to move forward with us, your next step is to take our Better Business, Better Life assessment and schedule a consultation. Go to tapthepotential.com/assessment. Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this. If you're loving the Profit by Design podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your business or your life, would you mind doing two things? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and please leave us a review. Our listener reviews help us get into the top 10 of all entrepreneurship podcasts so that more entrepreneurs like you discover us. Your review is critical in helping us make a difference for more entrepreneurs who are ready to take their life back.